have something to say, raise your hand.
Hey, we're live, Fred. We're live.
We're live, and I can actually hear the intro. I can actually hear something. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Should We Cover It show every Tuesday night on twitch.tv/OPNoobs online. The OPN crew comes together to present to you all the trailers of all the games coming out this week. We won't be having Steven hosting the show tonight, but the great, the fantastic me. And I am happy to introduce with us tonight AJ Melardi. Hey AJ. We've got Alucardo, El Jefe. We've got, hold on, I can hear myself on Twitch. I'm getting a lot of feedback.
But we can still hear you.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Alright. I can still hear myself, Stylomax. This is not working.
Well, it sounds alright to us.
Yeah, to me, I just hear you.
All that matters.
So, we also have Stylo on tech, who's currently figuring out why Fred can hear himself talk. We have our very own Shane Games. He's with us for the second show in a row now. Welcome back, Shane. Eli, as always, we're glad to have you. Caitlin, we were worried that maybe we were going to lose you earlier because of technical issues, but we're glad that we have you. Steven, you hosted last week, and apparently Fred has come back from vengeance.
Everything went fine with me. I'm just saying.
I know, but Fred wants his moment. He really just wants to let you know that this is his show. And of course, Zach, thanks for coming on for your first time. We're glad to have you, man. And you, of course, are one of our writers. Am I not mistaken?
Yes, I am a newbie taking on the task.
Excellent.
Thanks for saving the day, Chris. I actually realized that I had a second browser opened behind the current browser with Twitch going and the sound on, so that's why I could hear myself. Alright guys, you know how it goes. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We're going to be looking at the trailers of all the games coming up this week, and we're going to get started right away with the Solus project. Stylo, please press play, and let's get started.
Don't forget to use the push to talk as well in the video.
Caitlin, I think you got to.
She's muted
now.
She's still muted.
There you go.
Alright, the Solus project is a single-player, exploration-driven adventure with survival elements set on a mysterious and seemingly uninhabited alien planet. Survive through exploration and unlock the mysteries of BLES 6143C from the creators of Unmechanical and successor to The Ball.
That's all we've got?
Yep.
It's definitely a beautiful game. It actually made the background of the layout. I've never played it or even heard of it myself, so I'm going to ask people to raise their hands, and if you have any comments. It looks like you're playing the piano, actually, Adukar, from where I'm at. I always knew you were a talented folk, but Steven.
The one thing that I dislike is when the trailers have very little. I mean, it has gameplay, but there's not much else than that. It looks pretty, and we've gotten suckered before by games that look pretty but don't play so well. So on a first view, it looks gorgeous, and I hope this music is in the game because I'll be keeping it on repeat. But other than that, I don't know. It just looks nice.
Yeah,
Not
is
much
this
to
something?
say.
So I couldn't hear much of what Caitlin was saying actually because I was still tweaking out on some technical stuff. But is this a survival game?
First-person survival. It looks like it's going to be kind of a survival horror space game type of deal. So
I mean, I'm all for it. Adukar, if you can paste in the chat some link to sign up to the beta, I'm assuming you can sign up to the beta. The next game that we're looking at right now is called No1Left. No1Left looks like your very basic.
No one's left.
Yeah, well, looks like a very basic indie game. I don't know what to make of this, Caitlin.
This game aims to be a hardcore survival RPG, which is very challenging and fun to play. You randomly start one of the 5 characters, and your goal is to spend your talent points as best as possible. Zombies can take you down fast, and bad decisions can result in certain death and loss of your character.
I'm gonna call out on one of the latest addition to the team, the great, the fantastic, the beautiful Shane.
The beautiful.
Yeah, what do you make of this?
I'm gonna say it's kind of interesting. Actually, I think it looks kind of fun. I mean, it's like Minecraft zombie style. I don't know. It looks like it could be kind of fun. Is it multiplayer or is it just like a single player game?
It'd be interesting to know who's the studio behind. But if you want to try it out, I guess the trailer is over, and we're moving to Brushwood Buddies. Is that correct? I believe so. That's a new trailer. We're moving to Brushwood Buddies. These are the games coming out this week. And Alucard should be, yes, thanks, Stylo. Alucard should be linking the first game, No1Left, into the channel if you want to sign up to the beta. This one is called Brushwood Buddies, and we're going to hear the description from Kitten.
In Brushwood Buddies, an unusual puzzle game, adorable creatures will enlist your help to craft various items as they journey through forests, grasslands, and villages. Discover tons of recipes and find clever ways to manage inventory space and resources while keeping your buddies happy.
God, this is another one of those games where I'm just, I don't know what to make of this. This looks like a one-man show, obviously. The Caitlin?
You know, it looks a little boring, but also really colorful. So I think that somebody will want to play it, and I think that we should, definitely give it a chance.
Yeah, okay. Please vote on Steam Greenlight if you want to approve of this. Apparently, it's still on Steam Greenlight, unless that's just the trailer. The next game is called Ego Protocol. Ego Protocol, Caitlin.
Hold on. All right.
Did you guys hear me, by the way?
All right.
Yes.
Did you say hold on before to say anything?
Sorry.
Well, I was gonna say we don't need to hustle through the trailers necessarily. We should. I have a little information on the developer. We can get information like if we give it half a second. That's all.
Sure.
But anyways.
Yeah.
Continue.
Well, we'll stop the trailer on this one. Caitlin, this is Ego Protocol.
Yeah. Innovative, addictive, fascinating, logical. It is Ego Protocol, an award-winning action-packed puzzle platformer that will addict you from the first play. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on P. Oh, do those cases actually come? Can you actually buy those cases? I'm always curious when I see those cases. I'm thinking this is so old school. Who does that anymore? Can somebody pause this, please? Can you actually get those cases anymore?
Yes.
Or is it just a styling thing?
Cases do seriously exist yet. I have Watch Dogs in a plastic case, believe it or not. So.
Nice. Eli?
Well, I just wanted to say, as much as I like waffles, I'm not sure that this Ego is my particular basket.
Ego, not ego. Damn Frenchman.
What, you don't like waffles?
No,
I think you're wrong, actually. I think it really stands for Ego.
Still.
This is
Lego my ego.
Lego my ego.
This is Latin, Steven. This is supposed to be red Ego.
I'm almost certain it's Ego Protocol.
In America, we say Ego, Fred.
Yeah, Fred.
Oh, yeah, that's right, actually. That's actually
Well, it's just
Zach,
like
we haven't heard from you yet. You're the newcomer. What you've got on Ego Protocol?
It's like Enclave and Enclave.
Oh, it looks interesting. I mean, it's like as far as puzzle games go, I don't know. I think I get frustrated with it, just having to move all the pieces around. It's kind of like those old little games where you have to move it to make the picture. And I don't know. I like puzzle games. It's kind of a different take on everything, but I'm not really sure. I mean, it's kind of got weird shooter perspectives in it, teleporting in it as well, so it definitely gets things stirring, but I don't know. I mean, I give it a try. I try it out. I'm not really judgmental.
It's got a robot in it, man.
Yeah, it's got a robot. Stuff floats out.
Hold on, Chris. I see you've got your hands up, but 1 second, because to build up on the conversation of puzzle games, AJ just reviewed a game which I think is the highest score to date on maybe the 250, 300 reviews we've got on the site. AJ, you reviewed Dre, yeah, and I think you gave it a score of 97.
Yes.
So what's up with that?
Well, I mean, I gave it such a high score because in my mind it was kind of flawless. The physics were fantastic. There was no time I've ever was like, what the hell, that didn't make sense. Like, it always clicked after the fact, and they threw in other factors like wind and water to the physics that were correct. And for those of you that don't know, the objective is to build a tower using blocks that you get, and the tower has to touch a pulsating dot. But they throw you a lot of little curveballs along the way, and it kind of had a minimalist design, but they had a lot of nice little touches to it that made you like the game a little more, and you didn't even realize it at first glance. It was one of those things, like after you got deeper in the game, you're like, oh yeah, now I'm kind of realizing that this character does these things, and this character does these things. The only problem I had with that game, honestly, was just how you were able to join games with your friends. But besides that, that game was just so well designed. I was really happy with it. I had a lot of fun playing that game. And the other reason why I gave it such a high score is it had mass appeal. Like, children could play it. It was available on all platforms. I think no matter who you are or what games you like, I could see anyone having fun with it. So, yeah.
For me, the question is what makes a puzzle game great, and it's always, you know, of course, getting stuck and the challenge, that's gonna be a key component of playing a puzzle game. But what makes a puzzle game great? Like if you were gonna score, let's say, Portal in comparison to Dre, what score would you have given Portal if you've played it?
It's been a long time since I played Portal, but I mean, for all puzzle games, I mean, depending on your clientele, like Portal obviously isn't, well, I mean, I guess kids could play it, but I think what you were saying, though, is walking that fine line between challenging and too challenging. Because if it's too challenging, you're just going to say, oh, screw this, I'm done with it. And if it's too easy, you're like, well, what the hell, like, that was stupid. And I think you kind of have to have enough going on that if you're not advancing, you can at least get some other kind of entertainment from it, whether it's like something comedic or aesthetic. So, I mean, there can be great puzzle games that are challenging, but if there isn't something to catch your peripherals, I mean, you just got a puzzle, and it's not really a great puzzle.
Steven, you've got something on this?
I always do. So the short version of it is, when it comes down to puzzle games, it's all about, you have to actually feel like you're going to beat the puzzle at some point. Even if it gives you trouble, it's that moment of success that kind of keeps us coming back. We recently did an interview with Tiny Build Games, which, by the way, you can find on our Twitch channel to whore that out, and OPNoobs.com to whore that out. And they have a game called Divide by Sheep, which on its surface looks very simple. You're basically just getting sheep to jump to other platforms, but there are other environmental issues in the way, like wolves and just the water, because sheep are stupid and they drown. We've also done interviews with Rooms, Fred, if you remember that one, and it was just a matter of, it's a very simple-looking puzzle on its surface, but when it gets right into it, you can screw yourself over very quickly. That, honestly, is one of the reasons I love puzzle games. This reminds me of one of the old number slider puzzles.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, sorry to interrupt you, but to me, there's kind of part of the puzzle games, at least on PC. Maybe I feel differently about it on mobile. Like if I'm gonna play on my PS Vita or something like that when I'm on the plane, then I can have a slow pace kind of thing where I'm just thinking this through and I'm really trying to get through it. But if I'm on PC, like for me, the PC experience as it relates to puzzles, there's gotta be an immersive, almost, I don't want to say fast-paced, because I think like that's being like a little edgy in some ways. I think there's some great puzzle games that aren't fast-paced on PC, like Portal maybe. But I want to feel like I forget when that one is actually. I think it's the only review that I did on OPNoobs.com. It's something Inc.
I'm just impressed that you have a Vita. You're like one of 7 people at this point.
Yeah, no, I have a Vita.
I have a Vita.
I actually played on the
8
plane.
people.
Pretty decent. It's pretty decent, and like I find that on the plane, when like anything will entertain me, I have a lot of tolerance for puzzle games. Whereas on PC, you've got to get the techno in. First of all, I gotta have the techno music.
Yeah.
It's fast-paced. It's gotta keep me moving, and I gotta think, and it's gotta be reflex-based for me to play a puzzle game on PC. And that may be me being very, very narrow-minded and just afraid. Like as in some like close-minded, I don't want to play that game that looks like crap if I need to think about it and not make use of my NVIDIA 980. But at the end of the day, I feel like puzzle games on a PC are kind of a different beast, and an indie developer should be cognizant of that fact and make sure that they're appealing to the customer base that is PC gamers.
Well, on a touchscreen, this is probably fantastic. By the way, it should also be mentioned that this is available for the Android store and the App Store, but we don't talk about the App Store. But I would imagine on a touchscreen, this is probably phenomenal. I don't have a touchscreen myself, but I don't have a touchscreen, and I play Divide by Sheep quite a bit as well, and that is pretty much catered to a touchscreen. So it depends on what your preference is.
Caitlin?
You know, I think it's interesting because I just reviewed a game that I thought would be amazing on a tablet because of the audience. You know, with puzzle games, the people who are going to play them are people who be attracted to the mobile platform much more than the PC platform. Like, for example, the one that I played a hidden object game, and I thought, you know, my sister has a baby at home. She just started coloring. That is something that I would so buy for her to play on a tablet. But she'd never open up her computer, not ever. And there's such a huge market out there for great mobile games that are not pay in installments, like Candy Crush. Like there's so much room for everything but Candy Crush.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I think there's two schools of thoughts here: the ones that disagree with me and the ones that agree with me. My perspective is PC gamers are kind of one of a kind, and it's not true that there's all types of PC gamers. PC gamers are very much people that are looking for a specific type of gameplay, and that spreads across adventure games all the way to puzzle games, I would say. And nobody's gonna like the game that you quoted. What was it, Caitlin?
Oh, I played what is it? Eventide Slavic.
No, the one that's super popular on mobile.
Is it popular on mobile?
The jewel thing, the
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush.
Oh.
Yeah.
Candy Crush. That was the one I
No.
mentioned.
Like for example, for me, like Candy Crush is a huge resounding success.
But it's what old people play, and they won't stop playing it, and they play it on their computers, they play it on
So
their
are
tablets.
lotto tickets. That
They
doesn't mean it's good.
refuse.
Chris,
Endlessly.
Chris.
Like, so I feel like there are people for that medium, but things need to get to them.
I guess I'm trying to trigger a debate here. Like, is Candy Crush really a PC game? You know, like, is it?
Yes.
No, it's
if
a
you play it
drug.
on the computer, it's a PC game.
Like, is it because it
Digital
comes out on
drugs.
PC that you can call it a PC game? I
Started out
personally
as a
think it's
browser
not.
game, Fred. It is a PC game.
You think so, Chris? Like, you think from the moment a game comes out on PC, then it
This is
deserves
what
to
I
be called a
would
PC game?
My mom plays a lot of PC games. I'd say she probably plays like 10 to 15 hours. And she plays Bookworm.
You
and
always pull your mom out of the bag.
I dare you to insult his mother.
It's mom.
Not only that, she doesn't have any consoles. She only just got an iPhone, so she never played games on that before. But for like as long as I can remember, even as a kid, she was even playing like.
But she's
puzzle
an
games on-
outlier. I mean,
No,
Chris, I'm
but
sorry
no,
to say, I love
she's
your
not,
mom, man. I
Chris.
love your mom, but she's an
Mom is
outlier.
everyone's mom. Everyone's mom plays
Not an
video
outlier.
games like that. They
She's
do,
not.
Fred.
I'm just
Remember
saying.
Chris Natsumi? I can't believe I've invoked him twice in like 2 nights, but Chris Natsumi is the king of the hidden object games. The reason why he built Legend of Castalia is because he earned enough money making hidden object games, which he admitted is majority played by middle-aged women. And he says it's not exactly his life's dream to make hidden object games, but it allowed him to earn enough money to build Legends of Castalia, which I played a lot of against Ulti for a while. It's a great
Actually, to be fair, if I can jump in there, because I was also on that interview, he said, and I quote, "It was the most miserable time of his life as a developer." Now, the problem is,
It's a
when
PC
you
game.
look at when you look at those games, even though we on this call probably wouldn't be caught dead playing it, the point is those hidden object games and pretty much everything that Big Fish Games puts out are hugely popular with the elderly set. That's not to knock it, but the truth of the matter is these games are not really games per se. They're basically gateway drugs. They're no different than the one-armed bandit you find at...
Okay, you think the
Yeah.
elderly set have Steam software installed on their desktop?
Many
no,
of them
but they
probably
are
do.
PC gamers. Fred, you can be a PC gamer without Steam.
Sure, but
Sure.
as a company, like we're a company that tries to define itself as a PC gaming website. Do we take everybody into account, or do we try to narrow it down? Like Shane, does everything that comes out on PC is that a PC game? Every game that comes out on PC, is it a PC game?
Is it a
Platform.
PC game? I think it is in a way. I mean, everyone is a different type of gamer. I mean, some people are professional, some people are not. Some people like Candy Crush, and other people want to play Farmville. For me, it's what you like and what you love. As long as you're happy, then you're that gamer of that genre or whatever type that you want to play in. That's kind of how I feel about it.
So Fred is, as usual, the odd man out, basically. The fact is,
because I kind of disagree, and I think in many ways, to quote PC Gamer, I hate to say, PC Gamer has done a fine job for all the flaws you can find, Steven, in PCGamer.com. PC Gamer has done kind of a fine job in identifying what kind of unites us all as PC gamers versus console players. And it goes all the way from our frame rates and being all like tech oriented to also, and they cover, you can say they don't cover the indie scene and they don't cover the great indie games that are coming out and they really support it, but in a way they like focus on the games that label us as PC gamer. I feel they do that well. For right or for wrong, I think this is topic for a conversation, but Chris and then Steven.
You're not totally wrong in the sense that I think the identity of the hardcore PC gamer is what you're talking about for sure. But I think that we as hardcore PC gamers genuinely benefit from all of these kind of non-hardcore PC gamers who don't even really identify as gamers being gamers, because it just creates so much more investment in that whole sector, because even though we're the hardcore gamers, they're the ones that are the bread and butter for so many companies that end up creating good things later. So I like to think that we kind of need these people that play Bejeweled and Candy Crush, even though they're kind of boring and very pathetic games. I'm sorry to say if anyone really likes those, but but I think it's all part of one big circle of life. You know what I mean? And it's
but I mean,
good
like,
for PC
you
gaming.
can't,
And,
you
know,
can't
it's a good
deny
thing.
that most of the games that come out on a platform are going to come out on PC as well. And
It's true. I mean, being a PC gamer is unquestionably the best kind of gamer, because even if you like console games, 90% of what's on console is available through some form of emulation or eventually is ported. So, yeah.
So
But
if you,
Fred,
like,
if we
we're not, I mean, we're not like.
say, if we
we're not-
repeatedly say that's not a
Raise
PC
your hand,
game,
Caitlin.
I so disagree with you, though.
Raise your hand, Caitlin. Shane.
I was just gonna say that, in my opinion, I mean, it's like what he was saying is like you need these gamers in order to fun. So it's kind of like I like if you're talking about like these type of games. I'm looking at like Animal Crossing. I really like Animal Crossing, but we need to fund that, so we make this crappy little Amiibo festival game. And so the people who play that, I may not view them as hardcore Animal Crossing fans, but it is big enough for them to fund the next installment, which is going to be amazing. So, and I also like to look at it as maybe that's just where modern times are at now. You know, when we grew up, you know, games didn't come out as fast, and now the birth of the casual player or the extreme casual player, you know, they're playing a lot of these games. So, I mean, I don't think it's beneficial
But-
not to cover these games because
Sure,
so
but-
many people play these games, but I can see what you're saying that it may not be
Like,
like
we're not, PC gamers are not the jacks of all trades. We may be the beta testers, we may be the alpha testers, but we also have kind of a cultural identity is what I'm saying. And a lot of times I see games that are coming out on mobile, and maybe we're like straying away a lot from just puzzle games and question mark games type of things. But at the same time, I have the feeling when we watch all these trailers that like a lot of these trailers are games that come out on platforms where they're meant to come out on, and then PC as well, just because it's easy to port them on PC and we might as well release them on Steam. But it doesn't make them PC games, and this is at the end of the day the Should We Cover It show. Eli.
I actually just wanted to say we haven't really actually been talking about the game for a while now. Maybe we should get back to it.
Well, but it really, I mean,
actually-
it comes down because you know why, Eli? Because it comes down to what the purpose of this show kind of is, which is should we cover it? In the sense that PC games are supposed to have some sort of an identity. It shouldn't be like, well, maybe some people would like this and we should cover it. I feel like sometimes we should just say, no, this is not for PC gamers. This is for mobile gamers. This is for,
Isn't that what the
everybody
review's
outside of.
for?
I mean, I feel like we should have some sort of an identity, I guess is what I'm saying, and not just be PC gamers, the jacks of all trade. Caitlin and then Steven, and then we can move on, Eli, based on
Actually-
As far as your cultural identity, I think that yes, we do have one, and I'd like to call it snobbery. That is what it is. We turn our nose up at any game that does not fit a certain mold. But you know what? That's wrong. Especially since OPNoobs is championing the cause of indie developers. Let me tell you something about
That
indie
doesn't make
games,
us.
Fred.
That doesn't
Let me
doesn't
tell
make us
you.
all
Fred, let her
accepting.
go. Let her
I
go.
wasn't
Seriously.
allowed
Go ahead,
to
go
play the
ahead.
awesome PC games as a kid. They were too violent. They were too graphically heavy. I wasn't allowed to play them. My mom bought these little, they came in these tiny little boxes, and they were always demo discs, and they were exactly the kind of games you're talking about. That's what I played as a kid on the PC. Those were PC games, and they will always be. You forget that a mobile device that you game on is exactly what your computer is. This
It's not
is
a
the
PC.
future.
Watch what you're saying.
But someday it will be. You gotta think about that. They are people who game on their PC. You can take your Candy Crush from your phone to your laptop.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to say we have an identity. Like PC gamers build their own rigs, and
Yeah,
like we have an identity, and that's when I quote PC gamers, and I'm actually gonna give the mic to Alucard because I feel like Alucard is the PC gamer.
I'm the only one that's going to support you on this one. You really
I know.
should.
That's why I let you finish with this. I let you finish, Steven. I was let you finish. Alucard.
I'm just gonna repeat what I said in the chat. I'm not buying a 4K,
Barry.
144 refresh rate monitor for no goddamn console. All right, I'll tell you that right now. Show
Yeah,
me a
I mean, the
console
master
Here,
race
here.
does something,
I will
right?
applaud it. You know, that's all. That's all.
And it doesn't mean, and I feel like that's the beauty of it. I feel like it doesn't mean that PC gamers don't support the indie scene. On the contrary, we believe we are the beta testers of the indie scene. We are here to test early access came out of the PC gaming crowd. That's because we want to test, we want the industry to stay creative, but at the same time we wanted to push everything to the limits. It's like this kind of balance between testing phase and making the most of the indie scene for that, all the way to the AAA and what it can do on a creative standpoint. We are that middle ground where we make everything happen by giving the feedback, early access, team making the most of it, and then through that indie scene pushing the AAA studios to innovate. I feel like that's what makes PC gamers special in a way. And when we basically say that everything from Candy Crush all the way to the latest app on freaking iPhone, which I personally despise, like we're basically losing our identity as who we are and what we stand for. Steven, yes, come and support me, and we can move on to traders, Eli.
Thank you. So here's the problem. I agree with you. I am totally, even though I have a bunch of consoles, the fact of the matter is these things, they're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. The fact of the matter is we have never gotten into a situation where society is more of a gaming public than we have right now. Whether we like it or not, these are personal computers. I mean, my watch has more memory in it than computers 10 years ago. That being said, as much as I hate mobile games, it's because of those mobile games that we have some fantastic, deep storylines. For every Candy Crush, that allows the possibility of building a Witcher 3. Now, that's kind of an extreme example, but the truth of the matter is it's the same thing in any media. Any good band is going to put out top 40 hits and singles so that they can do those experimental albums. There's a reason why Johnny Depp did all these crappy blockbuster movies so he could go and do his indie thing. The fact of the matter is, gamers and gaming as a whole exists because of stupid friggin' mobile games.
Oh,
Now,
you cannot say that, Steven.
Nowadays, the easiest way for any company to get funding is to have an addictive, easy to pick up, easy to play game so that they can then build an awesome game, like Call of Calasia. He did all that crap so that he could build his dream game. Now, at the same time, I agree, mobile games, I don't necessarily count them in the same breath as Witcher 3 and Fallout and XCOM 2 and all those. By the way, if you want to talk about XCOM 2, we're going to do it on Sunday. We did it last Sunday for AAA Anonymous, just to get that plug out of the way.
Nice.
Sorry,
yeah, right? Go ahead, Chris. You're the best pitchman we got. Go.
I was going to say, don't forget, Fred, that some of the best games that you've loved this year on PC were all available on console as well. So
Yeah,
I don't know what
sure.
is
No, but here's my stance.
Just to prove it, I'm going to play.
It's still a PC game.
Just to prove it, I'm going to play Wii U for the rest of this call.
To
So
conclude, and we can move on, is I feel like the indie scene as a whole is key to keeping the AAA scene creative and innovative.
at the
But,
end of the
on
day,
the
it's
same
business.
But
I agree.
on the same token, I also feel like Steam as a platform has gone too far in promoting any type of game, and just the barrier to access to Steam is too low. And most of these traders we see on a weekly basis kind of are just, we feel like we're being served something that was really done for another channel. It wasn't for PC.
There is a
And-
lot of crap out there. I agree, but the problem is crap can sell. I mean, look
And
at Michael
our own
Bay's
shows,
anything.
But to be reflective of our own crew, we used to be way more critical in the Should We Cover It show. And suddenly I found like this accepting crowd.
I am totally critical, sir. What are you talking about?
No, I feel like everything is yes, I'm sure some people should be accepting of this and enjoy this, when we should be saying, no, this is not for PC.
Look
I
at
guess
how
this
many
is a very long
developers.
story
Well,
to
see,
make a very short point. Like,
I agree,
some
but the
stuff
problem
is
is
not
a
for
lot of the
PC.
devs we talk to have all gone through that mobile hell, and a lot of them hate it. But some of them accept the fact that this, at the end of the day, is an art form and a business, and business needs to make money.
yeah, but
And I hate to say it.
we gamers are not business people. We're gamers. I mean, let's move
is
forward. Let's move forward. We're not in this for business. OPNoobs knows that very well.
What we're gonna do
Let's
now
move
is
on, Stylomax. Move us to the next.
Poor Stylo.
giveaways.
And
back-to-back giveaways.
El giveaway.
Back-to-back giveaway. Oh, madly.
Ricardo, roll it.
Yeah, Stylo, run it. Do it back-to-back.
Thanks everybody for tuning in. By the way, we've got 16 people on the chat. We're appreciative of that.
Hey, Fred, I heard we have a tournament coming up.
We
Yes,
do
we
have a
do.
tournament. Isn't that right?
Dun, dun, dun.
Chris, what can you tell us about that
What
tournament,
can you
sir?
tell us about
I
RSC?
heard that it's happening in April on the 16th and 17th, and I also heard that you can go to our website, www.opnoobs.com, and click on E4I and sign up for it. I heard those
Really?
things. Just saying.
And we also have a haptic feedback, which we haven't seen in a while. Who's
Hey!
asking
I remember
Alucardo,
him.
who's the hot chick on the far left with the white and black headset, white T-shirt, accent?
Oh, that's Alucard.
Oh well, fuck, that's me.
I was waiting for
Last
it
week,
too.
2 weeks ago, I was got him. Today I'm the
Wow.
hot chick.
Troll
Thanks,
achievement.
haptic. We love you, man.
Caitlin won that last one. Run it back.
Oh, hey.
Did I?
Yes, you did. He'll never
Well-
give you the key. I never got mine.
What's the game?
I didn't get the last key I was supposed to get.
No, give it to somebody else. I don't need any more games right now.
Zach right now is thinking, what the F of a community that just joined?
He just jumped into this. Sir.
I just went in head first. I didn't know what I was signing up for.
Rigged.
It's all good.
I am not enjoying this. Alright, let's move on. Let's check this first trailer.
I was hosting it.
right
Be
now.
awesome.
Guys, to
I'm just
conclude
saying.
on this very long debate, I'm just saying, let's be more critical. Let's bash some. Let's bash
No,
some.
I think Fred might be
just
right.
A shout out to Such Play Wow for winning.
Oh, my friend Max.
Don't be so
Yeah,
damn
Max.
subjective.
Already.
Wait,
My neighbor
Fred, did I
upstairs.
hear you right? Did you just tell me that you want me to be more critical?
Yeah,
He
Steven.
wants you to
bash
be
it.
hypercritical.
Alright,
Oh.
I'm waiting. Oh, by the way, in
What did
front
he
of
win? Hey, what did he win?
Everything. I don't know.
Come on.
Alucardo, pues, ¿qué te pasa?
Everybody's getting a key. It's a random.
Everybody.
Everybody's getting a key. We like it. We like it. Everybody's getting a key.
Million sharks.
By the way, this Google Hangout stuff may be not broken, but the quality of the screens, they suck, huh?
No, it's awesome. It's just you. Worked fine when you were here.
You see my beautiful layout?
Yeah, get out, Fred.
Steven.
Yes, I saw your layout, Fred.
Thanks.
Caitlin, you said you're being an Indian giver? What?
What, an Indian giver? What do you mean?
I give you keys and you just give it back.
Look, what did he win?
He should tell us because it's one of the. Remember, I made a batch and I took away all the titles, so it's
Hey,
just.
can you just give him the
random.
Tomb Raider game because he should play that. I've been telling him to play that forever.
Yeah, no, the Tomb Raider is coming out. Stay tuned. We'll be giving out
That'll be
of the Tomb Raider at the end of the show.
giveaways should be mid-show and at the end.
All right, I'll let him know.
Pues a mí me gusta mucho el Alucardo. We'll be moving on to the Californium. Californium, everybody press play. Actually, we don't press play.
No!
Yeah,
Stylo
nobody
press
press play.
play.
Stylo press
Everybody
play.
press
I press play.
All right. We're on Californium. Explore the worlds of Californium, a first-person exploration game where you are a writer trapped into shifting realities. Will you find what's behind the simulacra?
Oh, that's it. Okay, Chris.
This is made by two French companies, just so you know. One of them is Nova Production, and I did Skype you the link, Fred. I don't know if you felt like translating for us. I don't know if you want to. The description is in French, though, so I can't read it. But it's two French developers who got together to make this.
So we'll never, ever review this, right? Ever?
I mean, the French scene is massive when it comes to PC gaming, actually. The French scene is representing, I'd say, pretty hardcore.
Props to the French scene.
Yeah, props to the French scene. This actually looks... to me, this looks decent. If any hands are going up, let's take them. Any hands other than Steven going once, going
I'm the best
twice?
one. Come on.
Steven?
This actually looks kind of awesome. I hate trailers.
Right on it, man.
I hate trailers that don't have really any major gameplay. These teasers are not my thing. But it feels a lot like the old Alone in the Dark mixed with a little bit of Silent Hill. And I'm kind of a sucker for that, so I'd like to see
you're a sucker for Silent Hill, all right.
I am, but I'd like to see an Alone in the Dark game that doesn't suck or made by Uwe Boll. So, just saying.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on, we're going to move on to the Red Comrades. Oh, this is a Russian one. I've actually seen it because I've...
No, we're not.
Yeah.
We're going to Pineapple.
Oh,
Don't skip the pineapple, sir.
And you guys be careful what you say about No Pineapple Left Behind because they've got a great website and we're already in touch with the developers. Probably gonna schedule an interview with those guys. So No Pineapple Left Behind.
I agree. No pineapple should be left behind.
I love the name. It's a little bit on the... I hate to say it. It's a little bit on the cliche side. No Pineapple Left Behind. But let's watch the trailer and let's hear it straight from Caitlin.
Alright, in No Pineapple Left Behind, you have to run a school full of children. Children have lots of wants, needs, and feelings. That's a problem, because if they don't pay attention in class and get low grades, your school loses money. However, you can turn children into pineapples. All that pineapples do is take tests and get grades. They do not have feelings and are not people, but they are much simpler to handle, and therefore much cheaper.
Cloud services.
Who's got anything to say? AJ.
I do. So this was something that popped up into our pool of games to possibly review last week, and this was one I was seriously debating on picking up. And Fred, you saying the title was cliche. I think it's a play on the U.S. law, No Child Left Behind, and that's to make sure kids do good in school. So I think that's kind of where they get the title.
Yep.
But I think it's silly, and it almost got me to bite it to play the game because I think it is ridiculous, and I kind of want to see how ridiculous the gameplay itself would be. I mean, you want to turn kids into pineapples so they'll be mindless drones? That sounds oddly amusing in a sick, twisted way. But yeah, I mean, it's just the utter ridiculousness is what's almost got me on it. So
it's fun. I can't help but Chris, I give you the microphone, but I can't help but pick on what you just said about the No Child Left Behind. It had because I knew like there was something cliche about it or something I've heard before, and that's exactly what it is.
You work in Washington. How did you not recognize that?
Let's hear it from Chris. Let's hear it from Chris.
why wouldn't you not turn all of them into pineapples? That doesn't seem to be a penalty that I can see to having a pineapple child. So is it supposed to be some kind of lesson in like self-control where like you're supposed to actually feel bad about having turned them into
No, you want to put them into pineapples because they do good and they don't.
I see. So the goal is to actually make them into their higher being of a pineapple.
Pineapples are fantastic at Scantron tests. Just saying. They're great at these.
I tried to take a Scantron test with pineapple. It didn't work. So.
With the pineapple instead of the number 2. As the only teacher on this staff, I would have loved to have pineapples in my class.
Teacher. I don't know if your hand is up or if you're just relaxing.
Just relaxing.
Caitlin.
She's just hanging out.
It's funny. DigiSketch said that he thinks that all teachers should be required to play this game before becoming teachers.
I agree.
Is it easier to teach a pineapple? I don't know.
You can't teach a pineapple. You're not going to teach me.
I don't like it when they get into politics, though, because all video gamers are not Democrats, and some people support No Child Left Behind, and some people generally think that No Child Left Behind was a good policy.
I'm sorry, did you just say that all gamers are Democrats? Because I can tell you you're full of shit, sir.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Have you ever played America's Army?
I don't like a game that implies kind of like...
I could be a real jackass and say that only poor people are Democrats, but I'm not going to say that right now.
But you wouldn't say that when you...
child left behind because of losing funding if your children don't test well. That's all. It's just a shameless joke.
Yeah,
keep in mind that No Child Left Behind.
Say that. I mean, you're a Democrat to say that. Don't you think that when you release a game that's called No Pineapple Left Behind trailer, you're kind of releasing a game that says all Republicans are stupid.
You don't need that. You can just watch a Trump debate.
That's inferring a lot. That is inferring a lot of information from the title.
I think the game should be
No, I think it's just a
so forgiving. You guys are so forgiving. I feel like you release a game that's called No Pineapple Left Behind, and I hadn't, even myself, like AJ had to remind me of the Bush policy of the No Child Left Behind.
Fred is just saying this because there's currently a Democratic president in power. I guarantee that he's gonna change his tune soon, but God help us all if Trump gets elected. I'm just saying,
you release a game that's called No Pineapple Left Behind, you're kind of getting into politics.
I like what
we've got plenty of game developers. Yeah, we've got plenty of game developers that love to riff on that kind of thing. Topical humor is always key. I gotta admit, like I said, I would have loved to teach a class of pineapples. It might have scored better on the national average.
Oh.
We're all gamercrats.
Alright, let's move on. We've got the next game talking about politics. We've got the next game who's Friends of Friends by far. It's called the Red Comrades Save the Galaxy. Red Comrades Save the Galaxy. Well, let me get the end of the names correct. Reloaded. Caitlin.
Alright, so Red Comrade, Save the Galaxy Reloaded. I feel like I've read...
Push to talk. Video hit play, sorry.
Vasily Ivanovich Shepeb and his fellow aide Petka realize that someone has stolen the red banner from the headquarters. Though it's not the end of the story yet, somewhere on the moon, legions of alien invaders prepare to conquer Earth. But could such a little thing really give a scare to the Red Army heroes? Okay, I have definitely read this description before and seen this trailer exactly on this show, and it's making me feel like deja vu.
Oh,
Bouchade.
Now this comes to politics I can support.
Commie. That explains
Is there going to be a Ronald Reagan cameo or something in this?
Well, it's kind of funny to think that Red Comrades... This is a game
Reagan
developed by Russians, and that
he was there for, like, prosecuting people or something.
Go ahead, Eli.
No, he was
that
just talking about a
animation.
Ronald Reagan cameo, and I was just saying Ronald Reagan wouldn't show up unless he was like trying to have people arrested for being communist.
I mean, it's kind of funny to have a game that claims itself as the best Russian adventure game. And when somebody actually requested this game to be reviewed on Tuesday night, I think just a couple of days ago, and And I actually had to reach out to the Russians. Like this is a real Russian game developed by Russians trying to appeal to the US base about the Cold War. So, but at the same time, it looks pretty. I would say it looks half decent as a point. It's a point and click, right?
Didn't we already have Fallout though? Technically, I mean, could we get a better game about the Cold War?
Fallout?
Metro.
You said Fallout?
Yeah, I mean. It was just riffing on the fact that we already have a game about the Cold War. It's called Fallout. But still, this feels like a point and click in the vein of Monkey Island and Russian Monkey Island.
Oh yeah, Russian Monkey Island.
Russian Monkey Island.
What do you think about
Hates
Metro
leadership
2033?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, it looks the animations are a little sketchy. But I think that janky nature to it is kind of the endearing quality. Again, you don't have to have super high quality graphics, even though Fred will disagree. You don't have to have super high quality graphics to have a good game. We've seen some questionable ones.
I agree with you on that. We're fine. Oh, this looks like the.
I didn't expect that.
Okay, the next game is called Devil Daggers, and that reminds me of there's something Zelda-ish about this, which I'm sure Chris will have plenty to say about. But let's start with Caitlin.
Yes.
Right. Devil Daggers is a fast-paced shooter that places you in an abyssal arena to face endless legions of demons. Armed with versatile magic daggers and a fluid movement system, you fight to survive as long as you can.
Nobody?
Anybody? Chris?
So, it's funny to me that low-res 2D graphics is a thing, and now it appears to be that like low-resolution 3D graphics are now like a big thing. Of course, outside of Minecraft. This looks like kind of like a weird like reimagining of like a Doom kind of game.
Hexen.
With, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool, but it's kind of strange to me. I wonder if this is going to start becoming like a theme of these like low-resolution textures.
I mean, I agree with you that we've seen this more and more especially over, I almost want to say over the past couple weeks, honestly. Like, it's not even that long of a trend, but we've seen a game 2 weeks ago that made a lot of noises among the writers around us.
It's like the old Quake engine or maybe Quake 2 engine kind of looking.
Yeah, and I'm seeing that a lot. Like, I'm seeing that a lot every week. We see this type of 3D, kind of very basic, but still, like, kind of exciting type of stuff. I'm not sure if it's the...
Great action. Some of those games had amazing fluid action, even though they had kind of shitty graphics.
Eli.
Perfect place to pause. I'm sorry.
I thought it was pretty sweet. I like the fast-paced movements on it.
I messed up there.
Go ahead.
Hang on a second.
Quiet.
You're muted, Eli.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about that. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing on my screen, and it totally screwed me up. But
Technology.
anyway, what I was going to say was actually in response to Kellogg, where he was talking about it's becoming a trend for 3D games to use really low-res graphics. Take a look at something like I'm Scared or I See You or anything like that. It's been a thing for a little while.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not saying that like low-resolution graphics are like a newer thing, but I'm seeing it more and more and more. It's
You
really
guys
what
are
I'm saying.
so accepting. It's disgusting.
Well, it's not necessarily
You're so
bad thing,
Americans.
I'll fix it. I
You're
hate
such
everything.
Americans. Like, the French will be bashing all over this crap. Like,
Let me bash it. Let me bash it.
I'm sorry to say, but from the beginning of this show, I felt so French. Like, all of you guys are like, oh, I can understand how this could like appeal to some people. Shut the goddamn crap. This is like shit. Just say,
Yeah.
this looks like shit.
You gotta keep it PC in America.
You know what? You want me to throw down the gauntlet? Then I will throw down the gauntlet.
Be
You
honest.
overvalue
Would you
quality
play
graphics.
this? Did you get a PC gaming rig and build like Chris? You messaged me, like you literally messaged me on Skype. Fred, I got this, and I feel like my CPU could run at 4.5 gigahertz, and I feel like you're telling me yourself, and then you go, my grandmother would play this, and I have to respect my grandmother's.
It'll get used. Don't worry.
This is awful.
Fred?
This is shit. Just say.
Why but you know what? I'm willing to.
God damn, man, I have more PR people than I could hope for.
Don't complain.
Steven, come and see this.
Okay, so when I see a game like this, the first thing that comes to mind is Hexen. I love Hexen. But the problem is, I feel like this is playing on nostalgia. It's 2016. We know Doom was a thing. We know Hexen was a thing. We know Quake was a thing. Move forward. There's nothing that any of these developers, I'm going to say it right now, whether they're going to do interviews with us or not, there's nothing that these guys can do that hasn't been done awesomely in the past, back in the 90s, during a LAN.
Yeah,
that being said, I love the animation, but still.
I mean, we've got a great comment. We've got a great, honestly, we've got a great comment in the chat from Defender that says there are good pixels and there are bad pixels. And I can honestly, as shocked as I was about the whole The Witcher 3 versus Undertale, the Undertale wins, I can still kind of. God, this goes against everything I stand for, but I'm still gonna say it. I can still kind of understand the decision to go for Undertale because, okay, Undertale.
Wait a minute.
I know you're, but Undertale went heavy on the story front, and it's got something that appealed to people. But this clearly does not give a shit even about the storyline. Like, come on, like.
I have a confession to make. I really do. I recently downloaded Undertale.
And it's bad.
Oh, how long have you played it?
Hang on.
Say it.
While the fan base is a cancer that needs to be cut out at its roots, I can honestly say that the game is interesting only because at first it was basically a pure and disgusting ripoff of Earthbound and the Mother series. But as I got deeper into it, I found out that it was a shameless friggin' ripoff of Earthbound and the Mother series. I really sincerely don't understand how it hit RPG of the Year in our award show. But
Thank you.
But the fan base is still a cancer. They're almost as bad as Homestuck fans and Tumblr entirely. But I can still see why people like it, because they throw themselves into this character of the everyman. And I think that's one of the reasons why we get these games with these silent protagonists, so that people can throw themselves into it. However, this game, as smooth as it is, there's nothing else to it. And if we're basing it just off the trailers, this is just a pure nostalgia cash grab.
In my opinion, the indie scene is to be challenged as much as the AAA scene is challenged. Like, you need to set a minimum level of expectation that currently right now it's the land of the snobs. It's the land of the aristocrats, the scene. It says, well, Fred, like, you shouldn't care about graphics at all because in the indie scene there's no expectations of such as long as the story is good and the mechanics are great. Come on, cut the crap. Like, we can't...
Good graphics? That's not possible either. I mean, these guys chased a style.
It is possible.
It's not even a half-bad style.
You are so wrong on so many levels. You are
so slick. And if gameplay is good, graphics do not matter. They don't. Gameplay is good, graphics don't matter.
Take a game like Squad, which is something to be. If you don't know about Squad, you need to check it out right now on Steam. Like, go on Steam and check out the game called Squad. And this is, I think it's a.
Squad? What is Squad?
Squad. Your stupid English language.
Is that like a confused duck or something? I don't know what Squad is.
This is an indie guy. This is an indie team. It's probably like 8 to 20 guys come together. No funding whatsoever. Come PvP, FPS all the way, and they make up a game that's got, I think, 10,000, something like that. Very overwhelmingly positive reviews. Graphics are beautiful. Mechanics are great. Like, this is the level at which the indie scene on PC gaming should be set at. It doesn't have to be played online. It doesn't have to be competitive. But the indie scene today on the PC is not what you expect from your iPhone 5. And that's, I guess, for me, that's the moral of this whole episode. It's let's cut the crap. And let's say, like, this is not meant for PC. This is not good enough for PC. Like the trailer we just saw, And indie scene actually means something nowadays. That's it's not about graphics, Chris. I'm sorry to say it's not just about graphics, but graphics certainly are part of the whole conversation as a whole. Like, we need to move forward with the indie scene as a creative beast who's got the full potential to deliver games that El Alucardo would play.
Indie games
Whoa,
are so
whoa,
best
whoa.
graphics.
We're getting on track again? Amazing.
Indeed,
Yeah,
right?
can we do a giveaway? I think everybody
Can I just-
subscribes.
Talking about El
Take a second
Alucardo.
You know,
to
like,
say that we have the best screen cap possible. Thank you, Stylo, for this screen cap. While we're talking about quality in the indie.
maybe we should move
Yeah.
on to the next trailer.
We're gonna
No,
close the
maybe
show.
we should do the giveaways.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
do
gonna
a giveaway.
Let's do a giveaway or do the last 6-7 trailers, and we'll close it, and we'll tell Fred to shut the f up.
Yeah,
Okay.
For more trailers, we'll do the Tomb Raider, and then for the finale, we'll do the last.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Nice beard,
Yeah.
mustache.
I'm just gonna keep playing Earthbound. That's all.
Earthbound.
Yeah.
Wait, is that? That can't be the same game. Earthbound. Wait. Thinking about the little. Wait, which one is Earthbound?
I'm gonna make Fred's head explode. It's this one.
I just whoa.
Because if it's what
Whoa.
I'm thinking about, you're still freaking playing that?
Yeah. And I died. Awesome.
Super Nintendo Earthbound. That's what we're talking
Yes. Yes, that is the best
about. And you're
RPG.
still my favorite person.
It's Marcus S.
Marcus! Yeah.
Congrats, Marcus. You got yourself yet another shitty game from Alucardo.
hey, cut your shit, man.
Actually, in 10 minutes, in 5 minutes, in the next giveaway, we're going to do more giveaways now. We're going to be releasing the game called, we get onto the homepage, called Titan Souls, which is supposed to be a good one. And then at the end of the show, we'll do Rise of the Tomb Raider.
All right, yeah.
Moving forward, we are doing Super Flipping Phones. Super Flipping Phones.
High class
Cosplay,
game.
Stylo, and we're
In Super Flippin' Phones, you flip phones out of people's hands to warn them about impending disasters. Unfortunately, no one in the mall is listening to you because they're too busy liking their crops and swiping left, whatever that means. Run through the mall, evade cops, and save humanity.
I mean, yeah, again, a game to be played on the phone, not on PC. This is not something we should cover.
That's kind of meta, isn't it? Flipping phones on phones?
Did anyone here play Shower with Your Dad Simulator?
Remember that game?
AJ, I don't know what you're doing.
Not without police protection present.
That's when you think you can forget.
Wait, have none of you ever heard of that game though?
No,
Shower
I
with
do
Your Dad?
remember that
Not
game.
without
Yeah.
police protection present.
I'm sure Steven has.
My father was
no,
a saint.
No, this looks like the same kind of. I bet you it's the same developer that did that game because it's like just a ridiculous concept. Shower with Your Dad Simulator was that you had 3 different kinds of dads and you would pick like a random. Like you would be a random kid and you would have to go to the correct dad. So they had like an Italian child with like an Italian dad, a black kid with a black dad, and then a ginger kid with like a ginger dad, and they'd have to go to them and pick them. And then they would have like these ridiculous obstacles, and obviously, you know, it's a ridiculous concept, but apparently it did well enough. Like it sold a decent amount of copies. So this looks like their project after that, and it still looks utterly ridiculous.
I mean, it's just a fun game, though. I mean, I don't know. It looks kind of funny. I think I would have fun playing it.
Yeah, it's in the same vein as Shower with Your Dad.
Let's hear it from Zach.
Doing anything with anybody's dad.
This is actually one of the games that I want to check out. It just, as far as the gameplay goes, it looks really simple, really straightforward and basic. I would agree it looks like it would be better on the phone, but it's a time killer game. Pretty much what it is. It's one of those games like you got half an hour you want to kill, just hop on and go for it. It looks ridiculous, but it's a lot of fun, really, in the long run.
I mean,
Fair
come on,
enough.
you're a naked dude flipping phones out of people's hands. Like, what
Yeah,
more
but
do you ask for?
you get a lucha
Like,
dude
it's
eventually.
awesome.
You become a wrestler. You jump over cops. It's great.
Alright, fair enough. I guess super flipping phones is the seller among PC gamers. We move on to the next game. It's a game promoted by Bin Laden. It's called Wanderjahr.
What?
By who?
Bin
What?
Laden, apparently.
I missed this. What?
Wanderjahr is a JRPG with real-time combat and an intriguing story. This universe, this reality, there's a source code behind all of it. We know, we already found it. And with it, we will cleanse this reality of all evil. What is this, the Matrix?
There's a lot of things I could say about this right now.
Come on, man, that's anime.
Go
I
ahead.
choose to be
Who
quiet.
is it that keeps putting these anime games on this list? I want to know.
Bin Laden.
Alucard.
I'm like, nope.
Alucard.
No.
You've been so quiet tonight. What do you got to say?
You
Are you
insert all
gonna
the
be-
anime games.
Are you gonna be playing? Are you gonna
Put
be
it in the
playing
chat.
Wanderjahr?
No, I'm in the chat. Disclaimer. Blame Frank for any offensive remarks.
Or whatever.
He has no name. The ladies love him. Alucard,
I'll take it.
what's up with Wanderjahr?
Not if he keeps putting these games on.
Hey, Stylo, what's up with Wanderjahr?
You're not
I mean,
getting
if we're playing throwing under the bus here, now
But all of a sudden, there's something
I mean-
perverted for me when it comes to. But oh wait, it's the next game. I think we're looking at the Emeral Maiden Symphony of something. And Caitlin, why don't you give us a description?
No, we're still on
Okay.
Wanderjahr, man.
No, we're still on Wanderjahr. The next one is Emerald Maiden Undersea Complex thing.
Well, the trailer's still going for Wanderjahr. Shouldn't we talk about Wanderjahr?
Are you sure?
Like evil Pokemon.
Yeah.
Evil
Are
Pokemon.
you sure that's
It's
the one?
Yes,
That's awesome.
I
Final
swear to God,
Fantasy
it's still the
means
same
Maiden.
one.
Wanderjahr actually looks
Look at that. It's
very
got Street
decent,
Sharks.
guys.
Like, that's awesome.
It's like
I
Street
would-
Sharks plus Pokemon plus
Yeah.
anime plus what?
I'm
There's
actually
everything.
ironically, I'm almost sold on Wanderjahr. Like I might be. I think that.
We're
I
just
think
knocking
Are you sure it's a PC game?
welcome to Fred.
yeah.
He hates it, then he loves it.
I feel like we've disgusted Eli out of this show.
Wait, Fred,
He's
you
gone.
think this is worth playing?
Eli's like, F this shit. Eli, give us some comments on Wanderjahr.
Oh, I mean, there's not a whole lot else for me to say about it. It does look a lot like kind of a Pokemon kind of game. But I do find it funny the way you guys keep saying it, because the way the name is spelled, it's clearly supposed to be a German pronunciation. It'd be Wanderjahr.
Yes, but I'm not German, so
You don't count.
I don't.
Dog. I don't think that's German. I don't know. I think that's Dutch.
Germans in my family didn't have a fun history. Just saying. So But
Well,
What are you
Sorry.
implying?
what am I implying? Poland didn't do well in World War II. I'm just saying.
I don't remember that campaign in Call of Duty.
Really? You don't? Well, basically, if you played as Poland, you got a cannon on a cart with a donkey. That was the whole army.
That's awesome.
I think that's the studio that got
Right.
shut down.
Wait, Steven, say donkey
Yes.
again?
Donkey.
Okay. So we have a show, right?
Somewhere here.
no, we don't.
We
Fred's
got
just going
nothing.
off, but he's still
Does
muted.
anyone have anything else to say on this, or should we move into the Emerald Maiden?
I
Symphony
actually have
series?
one really brief thing to say. It's really easy to write off an anime-ish style game, but it's one of those things where it's crazy looking enough that, and I've said this on previous shows, just because we think it looks insane and crazy doesn't necessarily make it that way. I mean, if it weren't for Japan,
Another notch
we wouldn't
away.
have an industry at all.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Yeah, I
interesting
mean, the
enough to
gameplay
get
could
my
be
attention.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it was like semi-Arabic / Swedish, which is a weird mix. But let's move on to the Emerald Maiden Symphony of Dreams. Caitlin, right over at you.
Oh. Okay. Undersea complex called Emerald Maiden hides a lot of dark mysteries. On the surface, it appears to be a paradise, when in fact, it's not what it seems to be. Reveal the secret hidden in dreams and save your loved ones. Okay, I think that this is another hidden object game by the same developer that I've been playing hidden object games by. Same guys. I saw the advertisement for it earlier.
So do you like this kind of game?
Well, I mean, like, what's funny to me is that I'm starting to see a lot of the same graphics and the same type of games that...
It's this
Caitlin is the only one who reviews them, honestly. So I feel like Caitlin should be speaking, like, knowledgeably about this. Caitlin.
Okay, so what they are is they're a big series of games that are each $10 when they could just be selling them in $50 packs of 5. If you go, like the opening loading screen of any of the ones that I've played has an advertisement for all the other ones. And they are really fun to play if you need something relaxing, if you want to do hidden objects, if you want to solve a few puzzles. But I really strongly feel that they should be selling them free for $30, or you know what I mean? They should sell them in packages.
I hate to say it, but every time I see download on the App Store, I think do not play on Steam. It's just
They're
for me.
good.
It's for me. It's like there's a logical sequence right here.
But there are some games.
There's stuff for Apple. There's stuff for Apple to walk in, become a vegetarian, go into the App Store, and then there's stuff for PC gamers, get into PC gaming and enjoy this stuff. It's two very different way of lives.
Oceanhorn exists, and that was not bad. It went from a touchscreen to a Steam release, and that actually worked well, even though it was a shameless Nintendo rip. But it was still enjoyable. So there are some games that can handle it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But most of them can't. I agree.
Yeah. Mazement, Stylo Press Play, Caitlin.
Okay, Mazement is a physics-based ball-rolling 3D puzzle platformer. The player controls the tilt of the level to guide a ball through increasingly different mazes filled with traps, enemies, and secrets.
Yeah, not sure about that one, Chris.
So I see a game like this and I think of like Marble Madness and Super Monkey Ball.
Yes.
And those are two like classic games. And those Super Monkey Ball is like is a PC game and a console game, but I believe Marble Madness was the PC exclusive. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But at any rate, those are awesome games, both of which I did play on PC.
Wait,
so.
Marble Madness? That was a Nintendo game way back when.
Well, it started on the arcade, but
I think maybe it was an arcade.
Yeah, it was an arcade first.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of been what I
That was an Atari game, for God's sake.
Fight to the death.
It was? Marble Madness was?
No, I'm thinking Crystal Castles. My mistake.
Yeah,
it just looked really
Marble
simple.
Madness was always a 3D game, as far as I can remember.
I like the music to the game.
But I
The
like
music's
games
awesome.
like this. You know,
Yeah.
it also even like Kirby's Dream World, or there's just like great like sort of pinball adventure.
Dream
kind
Course.
Dream Course.
well,
I'm sorry, you're right. Dream
I
Course.
was not impressed. Let's move on to the Unending
Who cares about that?
Galaxy. Let's move
Never
on to
heard of
Press
a game like
Play.
this, therefore he doesn't know.
Nintendo fanboys are speaking. Sit down for a
Most people who enjoy video games will just pretend that they're not PC games.
Yeah.
They're just games.
Caitlin? Caitlin?
I'm here. Explore a vast and dynamic universe in which the different factions conquer new territories, colonize planets, and conduct diplomacy. Start as a simple pilot and amass wealth through trading, mining, and fighting.
Space!
I'm ever less impressed. If you're gonna make it space, it basically, at the very least, needs to be beautiful. I can't recall a space game nowadays that isn't somewhat awe-inspiring graphically. Chris?
I'm just gonna say it's in space, therefore it's automatically good. So that's just how
Is it?
I disagree entirely.
Eli?
I'm sick of space.
I'm gonna say
you
it's
just get
in
space
space
sick,
and they
it's
had the
different.
ship
Let's
floating right through us.
get Eli. Let's get Eli on the microphone. Eli?
I was saying it's in space, but they had the ships floating right through a star, so it's lazy and crap.
What? They can do that, right?
Caitlin?
Sure, they'd survive.
No more space games. If this is going to be like a pilot simulator, why can't it be on the ocean? Why can't it be in some conceivably other setting than space? I'm tired of space. I'm tired of seeing it. I don't want to see it. It's lazy.
Oh my
and stupid.
god, we're beginning to speak out of experience! Steven!
There's one every week. Every single week.
I have corrupted this show. I'm sick of space. I'm totally sick of space. I've been saying it for 3 straight shows. I'm sick to death of space. Not do space.
Actually, we've been saying this since April, and that's a long time.
Pause the show right now. Just no more space. Come on. Indie devs, please stop with the space. Seriously. Stop with the underwater stuff, please.
No, space is awesome. You're wrong. All of you are wrong.
So sick of it. It's the laziest design you can take. Even though we just did an interview with Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, which you can check out on our Twitch channel and on OPNoobs.com.
See, I'm not tired of space
Hold on. Please. I'm gonna start. I feel like I'm gonna slow down the show. Before we're getting close to the end. And I'm gonna start because I feel like if we're gonna do anything out of this show, outside of criticizing the indie scene, is to talk about space. And to talk about space, I don't want to get the people who've been involved already a lot, like Caitlin, Steven, Chris, Alucard, AJ. I want to get
all of us.
That's the whole team.
Because I want to get the voices of the new guys, the new folks who haven't spoken much about their opinions. Come some like iconic games that we keep seeing, like Caitlin kind of said, every single week we have a space game. So I'm gonna ask I'm gonna ask a very straightforward question first to Zach, and then to Shane, and then we're gonna build up a nice little debate on this, and then we're gonna give Rise of the Tomb Raider away. What makes a good space game? Let's start with Zach.
I think what makes a good space game is, I don't know, for me it's like the intrigue of actually having a ship and controlling a ship, but like a game like this, it's really generic. They just push out a lot of these over and over. Like I want more in-depth, whereas like I'm controlling the crew, I'm setting up all my weaponry, I'm setting up my propulsion systems, warp drives, whatever. Whereas this is just
space for you immediately says strategy.
Strategy. I like to explore, but I like the strategy behind it. Like I played Eve for a while, big fan of that because I can go from mining and scanning to actually going out and building a ship where I can attack as well, or I can go and assault other ships, be a space pirate if I wanted to. But yeah, I mean, like when this just kind of has a generic, kind of just repetitive feel to it, especially with the 2D over the top view. Like there are a lot of that out there, and I feel like a lot of this is, like was said earlier, it's flooding the market. It's easy to make, it's easy to push out, it's easy to produce, and people are a fan of this genre, I suppose, but it gets old for me really quick.
It's sad to say, but the moment I see a space game, I immediately get skeptical. I immediately think, okay, that's the quickest way to developing a game with little experience is to do a space game.
Pretty much.
Before I get to Chris, I'd like to hear from Shane.
Well, in my opinion, what makes a good space game is, kick-ass action, awesome alien, like super hot alien chicks, interspecies relationships. I wonder
it's funny because Zach immediately thought of space and associated it to
this
simulation.
Is Space Hustler now.
Yeah, right. Well,
I like Mass Effect too.
Yeah, like when I think of space, like I don't sit there, like I get the idea, like it's space and you got to build stuff. Okay, I get that, right? But reality, when I'm a kid, when I'm thinking of space, I'm thinking about getting on a ship, finding some bad guys, kicking ass, getting some lightsabers, soaring through the galaxy, exploring all these new planets, and just, I don't know, like being a badass, doing like tons of barrel rolls and like fighting Death Stars. That's what I think of when I think of space. So when I see a game like this, it's not that the game is, I don't want to say the game is bad or good. It's just like, I don't even see it as space. I just see it as like a builder game with a really nice wallpaper in the background. When I think of space, I want something awesome. I want something like, Commander Shepard, and this is his favorite place on the Citadel talk. I don't really, want to build something like this. That's what I think.
I'm going to ask a question to my nemesis, Chris Kellogg.
Damn.
Yeah, sorry, Steven, you're not my nemesis. Actually, you're a lot closer to me than you think, my friend. I'm sorry to say.
I'm going to go kill myself now.
I'm going to ask a question to my nemesis, Chris Kellogg. And Chris, like, get to the philosophical root of this.
All right. I'd
What
like
is-
to happily.
Yes, let me ask the question. Let me.
Chris,
let
have
me
you
ask-
drunk enough to get to the philosophical root of
Yeah,
this?
let me ask the
No,
question.
you
first.
never really can when you're trying to be philosophical. But
I
no,
mean,
this
it's funny.
is.
Let me ask the question first. Let me ask the question first.
Oh,
uh,
okay.
Zach is saying space is simulation. Shane is saying space is action. And I feel like, come to hear from both perspectives, most developers try to basically create a balance between both. Kind of cognizant of the fact that maybe in the Star Wars type of phenomenon, type of like, we want to make a game that appeals to people who are very fan of the movies and all that.
Star Trek.
We're gonna try and strike the perfect balance between an action game and a simulation game, all within the realm of the fantastic that is space. Do you think that
Sorry.
indie developers, let me ask the correct
Ready to
question,
go.
you feel like the indie developers are really trying to strike that balance? And do you think that do you think that the space genre as a whole has anywhere to look forward to?
I mean, so this is the thing, right? Space is like inevitably rooted in science fiction. You can kind of say that they're almost one in the same. I mean, not all science fiction takes place in space, but all space games are inevitably science fiction. And so when you can open that entire huge world of science fiction, all the ideas that are encapsulated with that, which is, I mean, if you're a Star Trek fan like me, that means messing with ideas about, reality and not reality, and thinking about what time is, and things like wormholes and faster than light travel, and all these sort of really hyperbolic ideas, they suddenly come into play. And also sort of this idea of an imagining of humanity that exists beyond Earth, which is like impossibly huge, probably with billions if not trillions of people, leads to all these like incredibly infinite conclusions that could be explored in almost infinite ways. So that's why I think, even though it seems like there's this huge amount of space games and science fiction games, the truth is that is an area of the human imagination that is almost as infinite as the human imagination itself. And space games and science fiction games have been a huge driver for all of the existence of video games. Many of the greatest games have been science fiction games, and they've been in existence for decades and decades, and they will always exist for decades to come because they inspire the human imagination in a way that I think that very few other genres do. So that's why I think science fiction games will be there for, not only are some of the best games, and space games in particular, but they're so complex and different from one another that you can have a serious game and an action game, and probably the hardest and the best science fiction games and space games are the ones that do, like you said, perfectly balance action and simulation, because it's really hard to be something that seems like that might actually happen in the future, but also like show that idea in an interesting and compelling way. Star Trek struggles with that all the time, and Star Wars does too. Star Wars gets too silly, and Star Trek gets too serious. There's a lot of problems with science fiction.
Is there something that immediately kind of gives me a boner about space games? And it's just, there's no other way to, I mean, there's no other way to say about it. Like, the moment you tell me about
He's got a space boner.
No, because the moment you tell me about Starship Citizen and a multi-million-dollar project that kickstarted and that in space is probably one of the most beautiful games ever made, and this you're hearing from PC gamers who are used to stuff that like makes Star Wars Battlefront look like crap on PS4.
Well, and Star Wars Battlefront looks beautiful, but it's so simple,
But
there's no mode to it. It wasn't released.
Like, Starship Citizen in 2016 kind of keeps...
Well, Elite Dangerous was a complex fucking game, and it was great when it came out. It's falling apart now.
You're not letting me finish.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
My point being, space games are exhausted. Starting with EVE Online. And before we get to Caitlin and
let the Caitlin speak.
I would love to hear from Stylomax if he can get his microphone on. I'm not sure.
Well, he's the only supporter of Star Citizen at this point, because I think
Star
it's
Citizen
vaporware.
I support Star Citizen.
Star
Okay,
Citizen,
I think it's
Star
vaporware.
Citizen gives hope to the genre as a whole as innovative, and on top of that, they tap onto the MMO market, which, to kind of like double tap on the fact that space is dead, MMO is dead as well. I mean, like if you think about World of Warcraft and all the failed attempts to kind of take that entire crowd off of World of Warcraft and onto something else, Space has been one of the universes that failed at it. Star Citizen comes to renew all of it in a bubble. So, Stylomax, can you hear us?
Of course he can hear us. He's recording this beast.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay, great. Stylomax, what do you make it of it all? Like, what do you see in Space in 2016? And do you actually think, like, I hate to take the conversation away from the indie game we just saw, but what do you think is the potential moving forward for Space games to take the industry as a whole forward?
Space. $80 million.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of
Okay,
like
yeah.
when I play space games. I don't know. I just don't think of it of a game where I need to go build something and like do labor. I rather like go and fight stuff and like find awesome villains and like different planets and stuff like that. That's kind of like what I think of when I think of space.
Yeah, the exploration component. Let's hear from Caitlin, then Steven, then we'll do a giveaway and we'll move on to the last two traders.
So, if we keep saying that space is exhausted, it's boring, it's horrible, we have to ask ourselves why it is exhausted. I mean, I think if anybody knows Gary, when I first started dating him, he was always playing this game. I think it might have been called FTL, but don't credit me on that. I just know that he was always talking about these praying mantis people that were in the engineer room. And he fascinated me with the praying mantis people.
It's just good.
So it's the innovation. It's thinking outside the box. Maybe one detail could be fresh. Maybe a million details could be fresh. I think what we're finding exhausting is I see a spaceship on screen, it's flying around shooting things. That's so not cool. That's like, if you do that, it's like, I don't know, wearing pink too many days of the week. It's done.
Yeah, I mean, Caitlin just kind of said a lot. I hate to end on this conversation on Steven, but I'm going to.
Want to, you know.
Go ahead.
Okay, so as much as I rail on space, I do it simply because I feel like it's a lazy out for a developer, for an indie dev. It's easy. You don't have to worry about too much in the way of art assets. You can steal some publicly available Nebula images and call it a day. And that's what we see a lot of in the indie scene, because a lot of games are good, but most of them are crap. And the problem is there are some indie games out there that do space and do it well. Again, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time. We just interviewed them. That was a fun game in space. To a point, Star Citizen, even though I still think that it's not going to actually happen. But there's a number of people on this call that disagree with me. That's cool. The Mandate, which was a Kickstarter game that succeeded, that I backed, I think that would be awesome if it ever comes out. The problem is space can be either a quick cash-in or it can be a huge endeavor for an indie developer.
I don't know if it's a quick cash-in as if it often the case is like a developer is just like, I want to get into game development, I'm going to start with space. I feel like
but it's the same thing.
Remember Nevin?
Yeah, I try not to.
While Nevin started developing games, he was one of our web developers. He started developing games saying, I'm going to, instead of doing OPNoobs, I'm going to start developing my own game. And he got into space immediately.
What's going to be funny is if we have to highlight one of his games on that, which just proves that space is still a thing. We as humans, we love the stuff we don't understand, but we also fear it. And we love space because we don't know much about what's out there, and games give us that that ability unless we're going to join NASA or join SpaceX. We're probably never going to get there until we get to terraforming Mars. Can we hurry up on that, Mr. Branson? Can we do that now?
Yeah,
But anyway,
I mean, talking about hurrying up, let's get the two trailers out and close the show. The next trailer, Stylo, is called Mysteries of the Past, Shadow of the...
In the high mountains, there's a place with a dark curse hanging over it. This place has recently witnessed the mysterious disappearances of a father and son just trying to spend their holidays in peace. Lift the curtain of dark secret that hides the mysteries behind the case, and the webs of the curse as they slowly draw you in. Only you are capable to unweave this dark curse.
it's a Hardy Boys game, it looks like.
Go
So
ahead.
speaking of games
Stephen,
that are...
Take it.
Yeah, I will, absolutely. So speaking of things that you'd find on Big Fish Games and hidden point-and-click type of things, this is basically that. It's not my jam, but the truth of the matter is these are the things from a business perspective that sell. That being said, I'm still going to stick with my old dog-eared copy of Seventh Guest.
I mean, I hate to say it, but this is like highly rinse and repeat stuff that we've seen already. We actually have seen already on this show, and we've seen every single damn week. Mysteries of the Past, Shadow of the Daemon trailer. If a reviewer gets it, we'll ask for a Steam key, but aside from that, I don't have a big interest in it personally. Let's close with the very last show. The very last game for the week is called Talisman.
Wait, this is the wait. Let's do a giveaway before.
We're gonna do
And
the
then
giveaway.
afterwards.
We're gonna do the giveaway for Rise of the Tomb Raider. That's right. You've heard it. You've got it on OPNoobs.com. We're giving away Rise of the Tomb Raider, the latest Lara Croft. Please,
Man, this is for the big bucks, guys.
I want to stop you. Alucardo.
Wait, aren't we doing Titan?
I would like Caitlin. Caitlin, who's eating something. Caitlin, what are you eating right now?
Looks bomb.
You never
A
share.
double-decker burger.
Okay, well,
Real.
Caitlin is gonna think of a number between 0 and 100.
Can I just say that I'm very impressed that this is the first stream we've had that hasn't dropped midway?
Right.
One crash.
Shout out to Google.
It's because I'm here.
Yes, Google.
Muchísimas gracias a Google.
There's a reason they run the world now.
We're gonna think of a number between 0 and 100. Caitlin, do you have a number between 0 and 100 stuck in your head?
Yes.
Okay, Caitlin has a number between 0 and 100 stuck in your head. Everybody
Is it
in
an
the chat
irrational
is gonna enter a number between 0 and 100 in the chat. And as you do, we got 69, Caitlin. We've got 69.
Oh, yeah.
I can read the name, it's in yellow. Hold on. Minus
It is
273.
Eclipse.
Eclipse XV.
Eclipse
guys.
15.
So,
Glad the internet hasn't
thumbs
changed.
up. We're gonna give away Rise of the Tomb Raider. And right about now, 3, 2,
Line's coming up.
1. ¿Qué pasa?
AJ's the best comment.
Caitlin,
Hands down.
Caitlin,
Well,
who's the lucky winner of...
DJ sketches included. After
All right, the number is 72, so it's between Eclipse and this banana person down here.
I
Who
would give
picked?
it to the
Okay, so we
banana
have
person.
66
I would just give it to the banana.
69. Yeah, it's 72. Oh, and 70.
Man,
and
come
between
on.
digits sketch.
69
I
all
can't count. It's 72 though.
I would give it to the
What
banana.
was the number again?
Not even one. That's terrible.
The number is
72.
72.
72.
Oh,
Am I the
good.
only one that pays attention? I swear.
Yes.
Awesome.
You are.
Just
I
checking.
think that means
Okay.
Eclipse
I pay
won.
attention. I just can't count.
Fred's
I don't do math. Sorry.
Eclipse was only 3 away.
Use all your fingers and toes.
Yeah.
So who's the lucky winner?
It's the closest was Eclipse and DJ, but Eclipse won by 1.
Alright, Eclipse, congratulations, you just won Rise of the Tomb Raider, and as we watch Mysteries of the Past, Shadow of the Daemon trailer, introduced by Caitlin Manka, I will be sending you the access to the game. Press play. Title.
Wait. I think that's actually a tie.
Ooh.
Well, no, because 76 was 4 away, 69 was.
69 would be 7 away. Or 2 away. 3.
3 or 4? 3?
69 from
69 is
72 is
3
3.
Okay.
76 from 72 is 4 away, so 69 wins.
Look, all we got to do is have a fight to the death. That'll fix everything.
Automate everything, goddammit.
Is this another card game? Seriously?
Looks like
Yep.
it. Man, card games, board games.
Somebody want to read the description of this beast?
If you don't have Hearthstone, play this.
The Horrors Heresy is a digital board game based on the rule system and set in Warhammer 40k universe using the cataclysmic events of the Horrors Heresy. Gotta have our weekly Warhammer 40k.
Damn it! I was gonna insult this. I was gonna insult this, and now it's Warhammer, and I feel bad, but I'm sick of card games.
Get
Sick
him.
of them. Almost as sick of space.
Gotta have
Space
our weekly
card.
Warhammer
This is
title.
space.
Just make a space card game and call it a day.
Oh wait, sorry. I thought it was bad, but now that I know that it's space, it must be good.
That's
I was
gonna
clearly
be your
mistaken.
quote, Chris. You realize that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Seriously, it's Warhammer. That's great. It's space. It's crap. It's a card game. It's crap.
If it's
That's my
dinosaurs, it's
opinion.
amazing.
That's
I
right.
love these
That's
type
right.
of games. This type of game is right up my alley. Strategy, card, space, board game, I'm all about it. I mean, obviously it's probably not got a lot of meat to it, or it's probably all meat and no potatoes, but I'll still give it a shot.
It just
Yeah.
makes me
Intrigued.
cringe because this.
I
this
think
feels
I
like
think
it's a
Steven's
DLC
being especially
delivery
rough. I think Steven,
I
you're
am
being
being
especially rough. You're closing the show on roughness. That's not. This
Have
actually
you never
looks,
seen one of my interviews, sir?
Yeah, but this actually looks like there was some care and thought put into it. I don't know if we should just bash it like this.
I'll totally bash it.
Wait, so the guy who likes graphics doesn't want to bash this?
Oh,
Yeah.
Shots fired.
No, you can woo me all you want. I feel like graphically this is not so bad, man. Like this graphically
What?
this is pretty decent. Yeah.
I feel
What
like they were
graphics
like.
you've got
I feel
going?
like the pictures were like scanned in on like an old HP.
You've legitimately got the background from like Digital Blasphemy and cards. That's it. There's no graphics here.
Maybe no, there's graphics here.
I think the gameplay looks intriguing to me personally.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like, there's plenty of games that I've played that have crap graphics, but I've still enjoyed them, but...
Oh, nope, they got a Pinterest. I have to say it's a bad idea.
I feel like we don't have enough. I don't know.
I can
We
say
need
something
more-
nice.
We need more
Yeah,
information
Kitten,
about
go
it.
ahead.
Okay, so if you know anything about Warhammer 40k at all, you
Oh,
know
yeah.
that technology in Warhammer 40k
Yes.
does not work at all. It works, but they don't know how it works. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with those pictures. Those pictures look like somebody knew how to use the scanner, but only sort of.
Yes,
It's perfect. It's perfect for Warhammer 40k. Number 2, it is the only grid-based game we've seen for Warhammer 40k title, which is a grid-based game.
Right.
Okay, it's a card. They're doing a card-based. They're doing a turn-based. I think it might be a better callback to the actual game than what we've been seeing recently.
Son
Okay.
of a
I think we
bitch,
should
I
give
have
it
to
a
agree
chance.
with that.
I think so. It looks a lot more like the Warhammer gameplay than a lot of Warhammer games out there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just the setup of it, how they have all the stats for different characters, the attack, defense, everything like that. And then the fact that it's just a strategy set up like a grid-based game really has a lot more Warhammer feel to it. Yeah, the pictures are generic and dull, but you know, sometimes I play a game for a game, not just to look at it.
Yeah.
So any Warhammer game can theoretically be, boring and dull as well. I mean, any tabletop game can. She's got a valid point, is that this is probably as close to the actual tabletop environment, because I think in the past I could easily say this, but how many people on this call right now have ever played tabletop P&P, pen and paper RPG?
Oh, yeah.
We don't know until Eli wakes up.
You want to see my Vampire the Masquerade tattoo?
Which clan?
I play Bruja.
All right, we're okay, Tremere, but we're okay. The truth of the matter is, it's one of those things that's been really, really hard, where we've had the IP translated into a game. We've had the Warhammer 40k games a lot of them, actually. Some of them suck. But this
Oh,
is
yeah.
probably the closest you're going to get to actual legit tabletop play. And as much as I hate the collectible card games, because to me they feel like a DLC delivery system with packs of cards and whatnot, Hearthstone, it's just one of those things that I'm kind of hesitant on until I see more. I've seen some gameplay, but I haven't seen a lot yet, so I can't really tell.
No,
you know,
that's
the
fair.
closest I've gotten to brutal Warhammer 40k this week and last week was actually XCOM. That is the if I had to ever run an
Ooh,
XCOM
you be careful what you
campaign,
say
I'd run
now.
it. I'd
Speaking of
actually run it
XCOM,
using the pen and paper
Go
40k
ahead,
system
Steven.
as
Do
a
the PR.
system.
Sunday.
speaking of XCOM, now that you mention that, Fred, aren't we doing something with XCOM this weekend?
This Sunday night, episode 2 of XCOM 2 on AAA Anonymous, 9:30 p.m. US Eastern Time. And Alucardo, before we move on to the very last trailer of this week's show, Talisman, the Horus Heresy, let me rewind that we'll be doing a giveaway right after this trailer, a giveaway for the game called Titan Souls. So we'll be giving away Titan Souls on right after this giveaway. Talisman, the Horus Heresy, Stylo Press Play, and Caitlin, it's yours.
What is mine? There is no. That's the last trailer.
That
Yeah.
was the last trailer.
Oh, that was Talisman.
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome to OPNoobs.
And Alucardo, this is all yours. The very last giveaway, Stylo, please
Yes.
run the giveaway trailer.
Do
Thanks
your
everybody
thing.
for staying tuned to the show all the way to the end. We've got almost 20 people on Twitch.
Yeah, thank you for staying with Fred, because I know he's a lot to deal with. We have more fun when I host these things.
Yes. Yes, Steven.
You guys
21!
are all a hoot and a holler.
Blackjack! Awesome.
21!
I think we got up to 25 at one point.
We did.
Okay.
Vous avez l'iPhone, c'est ça, Steven. Alright, it's Game Key giveaway time. Alucardo, pues que te pasa? Cuéntame, amigo.
Every time I see that, I
Como
can only
estás?
think of You Don't Know Jack, because it has a similar font style.
Oh, I know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Alright, we're looking for Titan Souls, which is actually a pretty damn good game. Got 1,142 very positive reviews on Steam.
Desire or deserve?
Desiru. It's like a mirror, the
Desiru.
metal act.
Desiru, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, congratulations.
Desiru, I
Yo,
gotta
Titan
find your
Soul, I believe.
name. Say something on Twitch, Desiru, please, so that we can give you the name. I guess.
It's probably a bot.
So we know you exist, at least.
Alright, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. This was the Should We Cover It
Wait,
show.
if Desiru doesn't respond, maybe we
Yeah.
should roll
I
it
don't
again.
even see him. I
Not
don't even
getting
see him
a
in channel.
response right now.
I don't even see him in channel.
Hang on,
Uh-oh.
before you take us out, Fred, we might have to
I think
re-roll.
we're gonna re-roll that.
I think we should re-roll.
Yeah, we should.
Alright.
So,
Reroll.
re-roll that.
DJ Noman Selecta.
Wait, it's Sketch's bot. We need to award it.
He's such a smart ass. DJ is like, it's my bot.
It's totally
DJ,
his bot.
You could do a little bit more for us, DJ. Reroll.
One of these days, I want to know if Nightbot wins.
Stylo. And after that, I'll actually be going to play some XCOM 2 for Sunday Night Show. Kicking.
The rum is going.
It's giveaway time. Alucardo.
Wayo.
Dude still doesn't have a name. We can't afford to give Alucard a last name. If you just give
No.
us 10 cents a day. It's all Oh, I thought he was going to win it. Ulti!
O-L-O-T.
Roll it again.
No, give it to Alti. Alti works a lot for us.
Fine.
Alright, Alti, and you gain a copy of Titan Souls. Alti, thank you for joining
don't even
the
know.
Should We Cover It show every Tuesday night on Twitch, 9:30 p.m. US
Except
Eastern
when it's
time.
Thursday.
We'll be back, yes, except when it's Thursday. You bitches. And we'll be back on Sunday night on Twitch for AAA Anonymous XCOM 2 Episode 2 with Caitlin, Eli, Ben, Steven, and myself to talk about some XCOM 2 strategy and where we stand today. We thank you all for watching. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And Stylomax, you may close the show. Sorry for going a little bit over time. We're OPNoobs.com, PC Gaming by PC Gamers. We'll see you guys next time. Just hands. Thank you everyone.
Wait, we have a tournament coming up.